in the camps. Some have died.
Yeah.
The sanitation is poor and all that. Do you think that, this really makes sense? I mean, what's the aim here, really? Is it to curb the migrants because they keep coming, even though the numbers have reduced, or what exactly?
I think, that's one of the major aim, really, to have one in Africa that helps reduce migrants. So they're saying the ones who are already in the EU, in Europe, so they're fine enough. We're going to deal with them. So that's why the first screening is in the EU, to say, if you're already here, we have a screening process that will do two things. One, to analyze and determine whether you're a real refugee. I want to know what your status is. Are you just denying or you're lying about where you're coming from if there's a risk of your life there? And the other part of the screening would now help distribute the refugees. But on the side of the African continent, the idea of this camp or this platform is to sieve out people actually who should really travel out of Africa, and others to also ensure that we don't have smuggling. I mean, we also reduce it. That's really the aim of the African part of this platform.
Well, it is important to decipher who's an asylum seeker and then those who are really looking for aid. But more and more often you find young people who are making these trips, and you find that they're dying at sea. What we discovered are that the smugglers, let's call them that, take them as far as the rescue ships can find them. They're floating at sea for several days before the vessels pick them up, and then they take them, to where they might be able to find food and medicine. The EU Commissioner, Dimitris Avramopoulos, says leaders have also agreed when it comes to secondary migrants to counter such movements within Europe. Now, France, where you live, a few weeks ago cleared the last of migrant camps in some parts of Paris. What should happen to those secondary migrants, those who might still remain stranded, in countries like France?
Well, according to agreement which they all had to sign to, I think the most important thing is they have to now go back to the drawing board, which is what France is trying to do, to ensure that everyone who is right now in that category, they're going to have to screen them, really. They're going to have to find out, really, are they true? Do they have valid reasons to claim asylum? And if that is true, they have two more processes to go through, which is one is to try to help them integrate into the culture. But if it's not true, the sad situation will be the case, which is to get them deported back to their home country. So,
you work for, you co-founded an organization that helps, Nigerians in diaspora to integrate.
Yes.
Do you find that there is a problem for them, especially when they come to France? I mean, there's a culture difference, there's a language difference, and so on. What's been your experience like with these ones who are just coming?
Let me start by saying this organization was born out of a need. If you look at the 2015 statistics from the EU, when it comes to asylum seekers, according to the stats, obviously top of the list, the top three would be Afghanistan, Syria, and Iraq. Nigeria is the only African country on number 7. And after that, number 8, I think, and then you have Ukraine and Iran. So that tells us a lot of things, that we really are a country that should have stakes in this, should have a voice in this. And so as an organization, we do many things outside diaspora engagement. One of the things we do right now is to work with the EU on a project which actually trains entrepreneurial young Africans. Not just in France, actually. We work in partnership with the EU and some other leading NGOs. So we have a platform called Me for Change, which we've signed up to, and we help migrants actually start up businesses and to become sustainable and actually give back to the community and be seen as an asset, not just a liability.
What's the main reason they tell you is why they left Africa and maybe Nigeria?
Obvious reasons: better life. And better life could mean so many things. Thanks to social media, where people are brought up to post nice pictures, even if they are hustling 9 to 12 the next day. But better life, but on the other side, really, when people ask themselves, even after all the sad stories they hear and they've seen, they still ask themselves, what's the price of staying back in Nigeria compared to the cost of really risking my life?
The French president will be arriving in just a few days. What do you think his message should be to young people? Because I know he's coming on a business visit, but I mean, this will also be an opportunity for young Nigerians, to listen to a French president talk. And as far as I know, France is one of those countries that have been quite receptive towards migrants. I mean, if you stay long enough, you get your citizenship, you're allowed many opportunities, although, you know, apart from the impending problems and so on, but you still tend to settle better than you would in other European countries. What do you think young Nigerians should take away from his visit?
Good. I wanted to add to get your citizenship in France, you could also try to be a Spider-Man and rescue children.
Oh, well, if you're lucky enough.
If you're lucky enough to find a child hanging.
If you're lucky enough.
I think his message really is an embodiment of inspiration. Coming from not the usual way into politics, having to create a new party, riding on the platform of innovation. And so his life, I think his story is really an inspiration in itself, beyond what he has to say. But I think he has a mission here, which he has already expressed through organizations.
You talk about inspiration. Perhaps could he provide some inspiration for young Nigerians who want to run for office, seeing that the Not Too Young to Run bill has been finally passed?
Oh, yeah. It sure does also provide that kind of inspiration. But he made it clear that he was going to come on a business trip. And so there are platforms already between the French and the Nigerian government where there could be knowledge exchange programs. And beyond that also, he also wants to see how to tap into the digital innovation part for young people and promote young people who have innovative ideas. Already he has a program called French Tech Tickets, where he allows young people, not just from Africa, but around the world, come to France for 4 years, develop their products, get investment and funding, and decide to whether come back home or, you know, stay in France. So this is what he has been promoting. And also he's also looking into the creative industry, see how to touch a bit of tourism and Nollywood, and see what partnership could involve around that. And that's what we also try to promote with Friends of Nigeria.
Still ahead on the program, the U.S. mission in Nigeria celebrates America's 242nd Independence Day. Stay with us.